A transgender woman has just realized how hard it is to be a man.
Mr. Reagan.
Nobody told me how lonely being a man is. I had closer friendships with random women I met in the bathroom before I transitioned at clubs because of how open women are than I've had in my 8 years of transitioning, because women are just so much more vulnerable and deep than men. But to have known, and I think a lot of trans men feel this, is we knew what depth felt like before we transitioned. We knew what it felt like to have people want to hug us and to have people want to talk to us and to have a community. And then you transition and you're just a guy walking down the street that people cross the street so that they're not near you. And friendships are so much harder to build and people are colder. What's hard is none of this invalidates how real and raw women and people who are in marginalized groups feel about cis white men.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Well, maybe this doesn't invalidate it, but what this chick's saying here, this chick with a beard, is saying here is that it's okay that people of color and women and whatever, LGBTQ people, whatever, it's okay that they are bigoted against straight white men, because straight white men, well, she says cis white men, okay, whatever, cis white men, straight white men, normal white guys. A lot of people think that we're bad guys. That's what we call bigotry, right? And she's saying that the bigotry that we face from these people is perfectly fine because the way they feel about us is valid. No, it effing isn't. You can't go and say, this whole group of people are pure evil. That's what we call bigotry, all right? We reject that in our society. We have an ethic against bigotry in America. But of course, if it's straight white men, there is no bigotry against it. So I don't give a crap that she's crying about this because her views are so effed up. She thinks bigotry is acceptable. All right. Now, I mean, okay, I do feel a little bit sorry for her. I'll get to that later. But I mean, this is why you became transgender in the first place. You bought into all this leftist garbage. Like, wake up, lady. You were tricked. Okay, you were tricked. Straight white men are not the devil. Okay, none of your leftist views are valid. They're all wrong. All right, let's keep listening. Every day, it seems like we're inching ever closer to the apocalypse. Considering the disastrous policies of the current administration, it's terrifying to think what might happen if we get another 4 years. It's possible that the entire food supply chain could break down. So it's my personal view that we all need at least 3 months worth of food stocked up. Now, if you don't have that, you can go to preparewithmrreagan.com and get a 3-month emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. And right now, they're offering this at $200 off. So it is a very good time to buy. This kit gives you breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, and snacks. Enough food for one person for 3 months. It provides over 2,000 calories a day for optimum strength and energy. And with this $200 off deal and free shipping, this might be a good time to stock up. And make sure you get one kit per person in your household so you don't run out. I was actually at one of these big box stores the other day and I spotted their emergency rations kit, and My Patriot Supply is a way better deal. So I feel very confident selling this product. With the world on the brink, give yourself that sense of security. Go to preparewithmrreagan.com right now and keep your family safe. That's preparewithmrreagan.com.
But I also now understand why the suicide rate is so much higher in men. Because this shit is lonely. And I'm an emotionally mature man. I know how to build friendships, and it is still really, really hard.
So she says, I'm an emotionally mature man. No, you are not an emotionally mature man. You are a woman. You're a woman. I don't care if you have a beard and a baseball hat. You're a chick. You will never know what it's like to be a guy. Never. You are a woman and you have on a man mask.
Try to think about how you can, in your small little community where you feel safe, can reach out to the men in your life and just help them feel maybe seen for a moment, or do little conversations to help their emotional maturity so that they can reach out to people and have deeper guy friendships.
Okay, so this is the problem. This chick is basically trying to say that the reason that she's lonely as a man, it's not her fault because she's an emotionally mature man. No, she's a woman, but whatever. Her thought here is that most other men are not emotionally mature enough to make friendships. And so it's not her fault that as a man she can't make friends. It's every other guy's fault, right? This is very typical of the narcissist perspective, right? I'm never wrong. Everybody else is wrong. Notice that she's like, people's perception of cis white men is still valid. No, it effing isn't. All right, lady, when are you going to figure out you effed up? You're wrong. You were tricked into believing total BS, leftist nonsense. And when you become a man, you just, oh, suddenly I realize it's not actually that easy. Yeah, because all your life, feminists have told you men have it easy. You know, the society is set up to help men. No, it is not. We do not live in this patriarchal society where men are helped out all the time. No. Men are attacked constantly. We help women out all the time. All right, we help gay people out all the time. We help black people out all the time. Straight white men are the only oppressed minority in America. That's just true. Sorry. I know like leftists will watch this and be like, this white guy thinks he's oppressed. Yeah, I am. We are. Sorry. Okay, you want to play the victim all the time. I'll tell you who the only real victims are in America in terms of demographic groups: straight white men. Particularly straight white Christian men. Anyone with traditional values. There are people that I talk to in Hollywood that are conservative that cannot express their political views in Hollywood. They cannot express what they truly believe in Hollywood, or they will be fired. They will not have a job. They will lose their livelihood. What other group in America has that problem? Zero. No other group has that problem. Straight white Christian men. Straight white conservative Christian men. If you're a gay guy or a black guy or a woman, maybe you can get away with expressing conservative views in Hollywood. You can't do that if you're a straight white man. That's for effing sure. And here's the thing that this chick doesn't get, and she's never gonna get. We don't want more friends, lady. We don't want more friendships. We don't need that, okay? It's very rare that as a guy, we meet other guys that we want to be close friends with. I mean, it's kind of like finding a wife. How often as a man do we find a wife? Once in our lives, maybe twice or 3 times if you're like kind of a douchebag or very rich, or you get very unlucky with the women in your life, you know, maybe. But it's extremely rare. It's sort of that level of rarity of finding like a good guy friend. Incredibly rare. And that's fine. That's okay. We don't need a ton of friends. We're good. We can be entirely alone, and that's okay. Men are okay being alone. See, that's the thing. This is not a man. This is a woman who has transitioned, and she thought that it was going to be something else than it is, right? She thought it's bizarre to me that these people really think they're going to turn into men. Oh, I'm going to take some hormones and I'm going to have my junk messed with surgery and I'm going to be a man. No, you're not. You're never really going to be a man. You're never going to have the memories of boyhood. You're never going to have, genetically, you're just never going to be a man. You're never going to be a man. There is this woman, is a transgender woman that I was listening to on the radio. It was on NPR, actually. This is on NPR back in, I think 2007. And I'm listening to this woman's story, and she was saying how she had been a bull dyke lesbian. That was her words. She had been a bull dyke lesbian, and she decided she wanted to be a man, so she transitioned to becoming a man. And she said that when she was a bull dyke lesbian, people were scared of her. Like, she was like this tough chick. You know, she would get into fights, or she would like stare people down, and they would kind of back down, and they would kind of just give her the right of way. And she had power, and she had agency, and people were terrified of her. She said after she transitioned to being a dude, nobody was scared of her anymore. She transitioned from a tough chick to a wimpy, weak little man because she was a woman, and she just didn't have the body mass of a man. She was a short woman as well, and she wasn't like really a big woman. You know, she was short, and I assume she was somewhat thin. And so she said that she was walking through the park, and she was she said she was passing, that she could pass as a male. And other guys would like stare her down, and she said that one guy even sort of gave her the shoulder, rammed into her with his shoulder, like just to say like, I'm the big dog, you're the little dog, and you got to respect me, right? They kind of pushed her around, thinking that she was a small dude. Right. She said that she had always envisioned herself as this cool guy that other guys thought was cool and were intimidated by and stuff like that. But she ended up being a weak little nerd. And it's just like amazing to me that these people have these illusions about what they're going to be when they transition. You know, a dude thinks they're going to become this beautiful woman, and they just become this, you know, monstrosity. And a woman thinks, I'm going to become this tough, cool dude, and they just become a weak little nerd. And the truth is that I actually feel quite sorry for these people, and this woman in particular, because, you know, look, we conservatives, we criticize transgender folks quite a lot, and we do this for good reason, right? The LGBTQ XYZ plus
LBT
folks, right? These folks are trying to normalize transgenderism, and this is a very dangerous thing to do. There are tons of stories of transgender folks who deeply regret having transitioned, and conservatives, we want to protect children from this kind of traumatic mistake. But I think that we forget sometimes that these transgender folks that are currently transgender, that exist today, they themselves are victims, right? They're victims of societal brainwashing, right? They've been brainwashed into believing that transgenderism is a good idea, a legitimate and positive direction for their lives. And obviously, this is a lie. And so, I feel sorry for this woman. I feel sorry for all transgender people. And look, I don't know if she regrets transitioning in terms of like the physical stuff. Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. I don't know. But she certainly seems to regret the new social reality that she's facing. And this is pretty tragic because she's stuck in this life now. She's never going to be able to be a woman again. I mean, not in the same way that she was previously. And so even though she now realizes that it's very difficult to be a man, it's lonely, it's tough, she's going to try to make this man thing work, but it never will. And that sucks. That's not a good life. And the truth is that no woman will ever really know what it is to be a man. She can take all the hormones she wants. She can grow a beard. She can wear the most masculine stuff that she can find. But at the end of the day, she will always be a woman wearing a mask. If you go around wearing a Dracula Halloween mask all day long, you don't magically become a vampire. When girls go out on Halloween with their little kitty cat ears, they don't become a kitty cat, right? Nobody who transitions actually changes their gender. They just try to create the illusion that they've done this. And sadly, the only ones that they're fooling are themselves. And sometimes, like this woman here, even they realize that they've not really changed at all. Well, that's it for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And remember, it's not that our liberal friends are ignorant. It's just they know so much. That is not so. Good night.
With God's help, we can and will resolve the problems which now confront us. And after all, why shouldn't we believe that? We are Americans.